sitting down however you're comfortable. So that might be legs crossed, or it might be diamond legs. Some people prefer to sit on their knees. So see what's comfortable for you here. However, you can just sort of settle in. And you do not have to hold perfectly still here. Allow yourself to wiggle around a little bit. See how the neck feels. Just maybe a little bit of movement in your spine here. As you start slowing your breath, softening your face. You can have your eyes opened or your eyes closed, whichever way makes you feel more comfortable. But if they're open, make them nice and sleepy, really heavy-lidded. And bringing your awareness to your breath. Making it longer and slower. Relaxing your shoulders. Relaxing your shoulders even more. Relax your knees. Relax your face. Feeling your ribs expand with every inhale and contract with every exhale. Now for your next few breaths, think about really inflating just the right side. So just that right lung, expand that right rib. And dedicate 2 or 3 breaths to that. The slower the better. And then switch that concentration over to the left side. So think about really inflating that left lung. Give it as much air as you can. Take your awareness to your back ribs. Think about breathing behind your heart, expanding your back ribs with every inhale. more breaths here. If your eyes are closed, let's slowly blink them open. Now, if you've been sitting on your knees, then find either cross-legged or diamond-legged. And if you're sitting cross-legged, then let's switch the legs. Bring the opposite leg to the front. And bringing your hands wherever they're comfortable. Cross-legged to the knees, diamond-legged, just wherever they fall. And on your next inhale, start to lift your chest, pull your shoulder blades close to each other in the back, maybe looking up some. And then as you exhale, start to round your spine, tuck your chin, even rocking back a bit on your sitting bones. And then inhale, lift again, rolling forward on the sitting bones, maybe stretching the front of the throat. And exhale, really deliberate rounding. Now keep going with this at your own breathing pace. Just a seated cat-cow here. The slower the better. Let's give ourselves one more. And then come back to a neutral spine. Now this time, as we inhale, we're going to turn our torso towards the right and hinge forward over that right thigh and sweep it across the front with a really long spine. Then as you exhale, round your spine as you circle it back around. On your inhale, you're lengthening the spine, sweeping across the front. And exhale, round it back around. One more on that side. And then give yourself 3 the other way. So start lengthening towards the left side, sweep across the front, and exhale, round it back around. So nice big circle here. Lengthening across the front, and rounding back, hollowing out the stomach on your exhale. One more. And then finding a neutral spine. Now, if you're cross-legged, switch again. Come back the comfortable way. And then sit really nice and tall here. Belly button in, low ribs in. Relax the shoulders down. And then start twisting from your core towards the right. And looking back, just holding this twist. Keep it gentle. It's the first twist. Relax your shoulders. And if you feel like you're really squeezing your knees, relax those too. Now stay here for your inhale. And on your exhale, hold the twist. Just turn your head to look over that front shoulder, nice and slow. And inhale, turn the head back again. And exhale, hold the twist, just turn the head. Use your whole breath to turn that head. Don't just whip it around. 2 more of these at your own breathing pace. Then release your twist all together. And start twisting the other direction, keeping the spine long, the shoulders relaxed. And give yourself a couple of breaths here just to really settle into this twist. Don't over twist yourself. Notice again your knees. If you're really squeezing and clenching with your knees, see if you can relax those. Now stay here for your next inhale. And as you exhale, hold the twist, turn the head to look over the right shoulder. And slow inhale, turn the head back. And exhale, just turning the head. And give yourself 2 more of these. You hush. And then release your twist all together. And let's make our way to all fours. And finding here your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. A nice wide base with your hands. So spread your fingers wide, not as far as they'll go, but pretty far. Pressing down with all 10 fingertips with those middle knuckles. And just start to let the hips here come from side to side. So let them fall to the right as much or as little as you'd like. And then to the left. Just back and forth here, really slow movement. Finding a place here where you're letting the hips fall far enough so that you're really finding a nice stretching sensation there along the outside of that hip. Now if it feels really good there in that stretch, you want to stay there for a breath before you switch sides, go ahead. If you feel the stretch but you don't love it that much and you want to just get out of there, then go ahead and switch sides more often. Whatever feels best for you. And after you've done an even amount on both sides, come back to the center here. If your wrists are already getting grumpy, feel free to make fists. That can take some of the pressure off of the wrists. Now, keeping the right leg bent, we're just going to lift it up. So keep that foot flexed, the bottom of your foot is facing the ceiling. And keep the core strong. Try not to really let the belly dip down. Pull the belly button in, low ribs in. And we're going to think about this motion only in our hips. So we're going to press up with that foot a little bit, just as far as the hip allows it to go, without moving the rest of the body. And then start pulling that knee forward, but
again, we're not going to round the spine here. We're not going to do anything. We're just checking the motion in that hip. And then slowly pressing it up again so the rest of the body is still. We're just seeing what that motion is in the hip. And then come forward again. So just keep going with this a little bit. Keeping your body still. We're only moving in that hip joint. After your next one, just release the knee back down and start playing with that same thing other side. So your hips are neutral here. We're not opening up in the hips, we're keeping them right there at the same level. Without moving the rest of the body, just see what you have going on in this hip. It may feel a little bit different. Just checking that range of motion. Keeping the rest of your body still. It's a lot harder when you're really trying to isolate that movement in the hip. Really working those little muscles in there a lot more by isolating this movement. Not bringing the rest of the body into play. The rest of the body's not invited to the party. And then after your next one, we're just going to release the knee back down. And then we're going to sit all the way up on our knees. Now here, let's start with our toes tucked. And we want our knees to fall right under our hip bones. So not the outside of our hips, but right where your hip bones are, bring your knees directly under that. Our hips are above our knees here. We want to focus on keeping them there or even pressing forward, but we're not going to let our hips slide back. So peek if you need to, and we're going to bring the right hand back to touch that heel, and then we're going to release. And then same thing on the left, keeping the hips forward, and then release. So we're really trying to avoid bringing the hips with us. They're staying forward as we find this motion. Just one side and then the other. Keep going with that. And if this is feeling too easy for you and you want to untuck the toes, then go ahead. It makes a pretty big difference. You realize just quite how long your feet are when you're looking to reach back and not let the hips travel back with you. Give yourself a couple more each side. Be really mindful of those hips. And then when you're even, just release. Now I'm going to turn to face this way. Now we're going to bring our right foot out to the side. So if you need to bring your hands down for a moment, you can just allow that to happen to a gate pose here. So that right foot you can keep all the way on the ground, or you can pull the toes back. See what feels better for you here. Either way is correct. whatever helps you feel more stable. And now we're just going to rest this right hand on that leg, and we're just going to let it slide down as the left arm comes up. And we're giving ourselves just a bit of a side bend here, nothing too extreme. Try to avoid letting the chest turn forward. We really want to stay open here. And think about lengthening both sides of the body. So not just this long left side, but pull long in the right side too. And then strong left side release. Now here you can either have your left hand on a hip, or if you have a block or a book, you can bring it underneath the hand. And we're going to bend the other way. Again, nice long side body here on both sides. And assume here that you're falling into a back bend, and try and pull your way out of that a bit. Pull that belly button in, low rib in, fight your way out of that back bend. Breathe. And then strong right side, rise up. Now everything's always better the second time around. So we're going to do that again. Slide down that right leg. Find that nice long stretch. Really reaching. So let's keep this left arm straight rather than bringing it into a bend. So we can really sort of exaggerate the stretch all down the arm into that side body. And you can look wherever feels good for your neck. You can look down, straight forward, up at that wrist, whatever feels best. And then slowly, strong left side, rise up and bend to the other side. Just a few breaths here. Release. Now we're going to switch sides. So do whatever you need to do to make that happen. Maybe bringing the hands down. And the left leg comes out this time. Again, decide what feels better for you. Having that foot all the way down or flexing that heel. Whatever feels best. Both ways are correct. And to start, we're just going to slide down that left leg, lengthening both sides of the body and finding the stretch. Strong right side, rise back up, slide back up that leg. And then finding the other side, again using the block or maybe just hand on the hip. And finding that stretch. Again, assume you're falling into the back bend. I can feel it happening to me. Fight your way out of it some. And slowly rise back up. And then once more, each direction. So slide down that left leg. Lengthening both sides of your body here. Really reaching with that right arm, really finding that stretch all the way down the side of the body. And slowly, strong right side, rise up. And then once more, other direction. And release. Slowly making our way out of this. And finding downward facing dog. Really moving around here in down dog. Stretch down the backs of the legs. Walk out the down dog. Really nice bends in the knees here, one and then the other. Lengthening the spine, grow taller in your spine. Lifting your tailbone. And then either walking feet to the front or walking your hands to the back. Maybe you just want to sort of meet in the middle. And find yourself halfway up with a really long spine. And then exhale, fold. Nice bend in the knees. And come halfway up again. Long spine. And then fold. Once more, halfway up. And hold here. Keep breathing. Long spine. Pull the shoulder blades back down your back. If you're locking your knees, unlock them. And then on your next exhale, just relax your upper spine. Fold forward. Now hold here in your fold. Little bend in the knees. And if it feels good here, you can walk out the legs again. Bend one knee more and then the other. On your next inhale, rise all the way up. Nice flat back. And then exhale down the center line. And then coming sideways on your mat here. And bringing your legs nice and wide. Wide enough here that you're starting to feel a little bit of stretch here in your inner thigh. That's our kind of our starting point. Now let's turn our right toes towards the end of the mat and the left toes just slightly in. And then bend into that right knee. So without adding the arms yet, just work on our legs here in Warrior Two. You can have your hands on your hips wherever they're comfortable. Give yourself a little bit of movement here in it. Make sure that back foot is able to completely plant down, especially the pinky toe side. And then just go ahead and rise up, ignoring the arms completely for right now, and switch sides. Turning the left toes towards the end of the mat, the right toes just slightly in.
And then when you're ready, bend into that left knee. And same thing, allow just a little bit of movement here in your warrior legs. Really noticing your feet. Peek down at that front big toe, see if you can see it. And then rise back up and switch sides again. Right toes pointing forward, left slightly in, heels in one line. Bend into that right knee. You want to be careful here that that knee's not coming forward over the toes. We want to keep it more in line with the ankle. And then as you're ready here, if you're ready, add the arms. If you don't want to, keep them on your hips. Make sure that back arm's doing what you think it's doing. And then look forward over those front fingers. Really reaching with the arms. Relax your shoulders down. And bringing your hands to your hips. Rise up and switch sides. Finding your warrior legs first. When you're ready, if you're ready, add the arms. Relax the shoulders. And reach the arms. Reach the fingertips in two different directions here. Feel that length. Warrior Two is a big pose. Takes up a lot of space and a lot of concentration. Bring your hands back to your hips and rise out. Now we're going to turn both toes out. Our toes and kneecaps are facing the same direction. And then find a bend in the knees here. And let's bring the tops of our wrists here just inside our knees. This shows us how far to lean forward. And then once you're there, feel free to rest your hands here, but try not to scrunch. Keep the shoulders nice and loose, the arms relaxed. It's all in the legs here. Maybe sit just a little bit deeper. And release all the way out. And start to heel toe the feet towards each other. And facing either way on your mat here, it doesn't matter. Let's bring one foot right behind the other. It doesn't matter which is in front, but you're finding yourself on a tightrope. I have a line on my mat here that's super handy for me. So your toes to heel here. Bring your arms however it helps you balance. And once you find your tightrope, then you're going to find equal weight distribution front to back. This is where it falls apart for me. 50% on the front foot, 50% on the back. Breathe. If you find yourself going back to more weight being on that back or the front, then even it out again. Your body will automatically go to where it's comfortable. So we're coming out of that a little bit here. If you're feeling fancy today, you can rise up on your toes. It's completely optional. Your arms are wherever helps you balance. If you're on your toes, release back down. And then just switch sides. Back foot comes to the front. Really, we are walking on our tightrope here. So adjust the feet, find your balance. And then once you have found your tightrope, that's when you work on the weight distribution. Half in the front foot, half in the back. It's harder than it looks. And hold on to that 50-50 feeling there. Breathe, concentrate, relax your face. And if you feel like it, rise up on your toes, completely optional. I find it's actually easier to balance up here on my toes, but it's a lot more work. It makes my calves really tired. If you're on your toes, release down. And come off your tightrope, shake the legs out a little bit. And let's sit all the way down. Keep the knees bent here. Bring the hands behind the knees. And sit tall. So find ourselves out of the slump. It's so cozy to slump down into this. But grow tall here. Shoulder blades closer to each other in the back. Lengthening your spine. Pull the belly button in towards your spine. Like there's a snap there. And you're snapping it back. Really strong in the core here. Just keep holding on here behind the thighs and start to straighten the right leg. It doesn't need to straighten all the way. Keep your spine long. And then release. Keeping the knees even. Straighten the left just as far as it wants to straighten. And release the right. Keep that core strong. And release the left. And release. One more each side. Keep that core strong. We're really working the core here. And the left. My knees are really popping and crackling here. And then allow yourself to lay back. If you have a strap or a belt or something of the sort, bring it where you can reach it. Come all the way back onto your back here. Let's bring our knees into the chest. Maybe rocking side to side. Releasing the left foot down. Then you can either get the strap around the right foot and extend it up, or if you don't have a strap, just interlace your hands around your leg, wherever they slide to. Either way is correct. And just gently drawing that right leg towards the right shoulder. Giving yourself enough room in your strap so that your leg is mostly straight without blocking, and your shoulders can relax. This left leg can stay bent like it is, or it can come down flat. Either way is correct. If you bring it flat, then make sure you flex that foot. Pull the pinky toe back towards the knee.
stretch. I was gonna have us hold this for a minute, but I feel like we need more. We're gonna do 1:30 on these. Now holding both sides of that strap in the right hand, keep your left hip down and slowly let that right leg come out to the right. Your right hip will tell you when to stop. More important here, to keep that left hip down than to bring the right leg low. We want the hips to stay neutral. Now, if your left leg is down flat, make sure that foot stays flexed. Keep pulling the pinky toe back towards the knee. This is a big stretch. Feel free to prop that right foot up on whatever's available. Some pillows maybe. If the stretch just feels like it's too much right now. About 30 more seconds here. Let your shoulder blades relax towards the mat. Slowly, carefully pull that leg back up to the center. And switch hands. Hold on to both sides of the strap or wherever you can reach on your leg. With the left hand, draw that leg across the body towards the left. Roll onto the left hip. And then look to the right. And go ahead and let that bottom leg relax. And keep your face relaxed. Again, feel free to prop up on whatever feels handy here. If this foot doesn't want to come to the floor, if it just feels like too much. Nice slow breaths here. Relax the face. Relax that bottom leg. Slowly, carefully back up to the center. And then bend both knees, bring them into the chest. Rock side to side. Maybe notice how crooked you feel. And then other side, release the right foot down and bring that left leg straight up. Gently drawing that left leg towards the left shoulder. So it's slightly outside the body here. Think more shoulder than chest. That right leg can stay bent. down flat. If it's flat, flexing that foot. Either way is correct. Just breathe into the back of that leg. This is a big stretch. More seconds here. Try to relax into it. Holding both sides of the strap with the left hand, keeping the right hip down as that left leg comes out to the left. Really important here to keep the right hip down. If that right leg is down flat, flex that foot. Don't let it go all loosey-goosey. Keep it nice and engaged. Relax your face. The more slow and controlled you can keep your breath here, the more you'll be able to sort of fall into the stretch. Let the muscles open up. Slowly, carefully back to the center. And then switch hands. Hold on with the right. Draw this left leg across the body to the right. Roll onto the right hip. Look to the left. That bottom leg can be nice and relaxed now. Breathe into the stretch. About 30 more seconds here. Really allow yourself to rest into this. Let your shoulder blades relax towards the mat. Slowly, carefully come back to the center. And then bend both knees. Bring them into the chest. You can rock side to side here, or if it feels good, rock front to back. Whatever you feel like your spine needs right now. want to add happy baby to the side motion, that can feel really nice. And as you're ready, taking your time, start making your way towards your Savasana. If there's any shape or stretch you need to find first, feel free to do that. You can use whatever props you like, whatever you have on hand. Giving yourself a little mental scan here. Top to bottom, bottom to top. See if there's anything you can do to be even more comfortable. Any small adjustment you can make. And then with that, allow yourself to settle in. Relaxing your jaw. Find a little bit of space between your top teeth and your bottom teeth. And then notice what you're doing with your tongue. Are you still pressing it up against the top of your mouth, pressing it against your teeth? See if you can relax it. Relax your cheeks. Smooth out your forehead. Think about relaxing your ears. Imagine gravity just pulling them down and back. Bringing your awareness to your hip bones. And imagine your hip bones as the covers of a book. And imagine that book opening. Your spine is the actual spine of the book. And your hip bones are opening, the book is opening towards the floor. Creating space in your pelvis. Breathe into that new space. Let that breath travel through your torso, down across your limbs. into the room, back to the mat. Finding small movements with your body. And taking your time as you're ready. Maybe bending one knee and then the other, rolling to either side. Making your way back to a seated position. And let's bring one hand over our heart and then add the other hand. And really just sort of bow into this. Feel your breath, your heart underneath your hands. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.